to really see what made the orchard click. And on the orchard, there's probably 25 different positions, but today I'm just going to highlight 4 of them that are only concerned with the packing house. And those 4 positions are the hydrocooler, the sorting line, and cold storage and forklift. The first job, hydrocooler, which is this tank you can see here. It's a large metal tank full of water, probably 100 gallons of water. This water is kept between 25 and 30 degrees, so it's cold. It's almost ice cold. And the reason for this is it's a preparation phase for the cherries. And what it does is it kind of hardens them up. So if they're being dropped down conveyor belts, they won't bruise. It keeps them from being damaged later on. And at the hydrocooler, there are 2 workers. And their job, it's a hard job. You can see here, these bins, there are 10 buckets in each of those bins. And their job is to pick up a bucket, walk over to the hydrocooler, and when a bell rings, dump it into the bin. Put the bucket down, go over, get another bucket. When the bell rings, dump it in, over and over and over. And what that bell is for, that bell can run anywhere from 10 to 30-second intervals. And that is decided upon the condition of the cherries. If the cherries are in good condition, there's not a lot of bad, like cracked cherries, bruised cherries, you can run it pretty fast. And if they are bad, you want to slow it down closer to 20-25 seconds in intervals. The reason for that is the next job, the sorting line. So at the bottom of the hydrocooler, there are 3 conveyor belts that run up and split into these 3 different sorting lines. And each cherry is hand sorted through by these 30 or so workers watching the conveyor belt move these cherries in front of them. And what determines a bad cherry is called coal, is either the size, or if there's a crack through the cherry, or even if it's bruised. And what they do with this coal is take it and throw it down a chute, and it comes out a separate conveyor belt here, and the coals are collected in a separate bin, the coal bin. And these coals are either sold to yogurt companies or jam companies, companies that don't really care what they look like, but just want the flavor, because they still taste really good. They just don't, they're not looking worthy. And the next piece of the sorting line is the weighers. These 3 conveyor belts run down and drop into a last wash to wash off anything else that was on them, and up a conveyor belt where 3 weighers are standing with folded boxes. And they fill these boxes to 15 pounds. And they're each on a scale. They zero them out with the boxes on there, and then send them down the last conveyor belt. Now this belt leads to a separate building called cold storage. And it's a small warehouse. It's a large room, but as far as warehouses go, it's pretty small. And there are 3 to 4 workers in there, and they're full onesie insulated Carhartt suits and beanies and gloves, because it's kept at a constant temperature between 22 and 28 degrees. So it's a big freezer box. And their job is simply to pack and stack these boxes on pallets. And when they come up, they take a lid and put it on the box and stack it on a pallet. These pallets are stacked 9 by 10 high, so an overhead high of boxes. And once there are those 90 boxes on that pallet, they nail boards to the sides and saran wrap the crap out of them. So if you were to run into that pallet of cherries, they would not budge. That's for when they get shipped out, because you do not want those cherries to fall over in one of the trucks if they go around a tight corner. And the last job, the job that kind of ties all these jobs together, is forklift driving. Now, I came into my last summer working on this orchard. I was excited. I got to work on the forklift. But by the end of the summer, I was ready to run screaming from that machine. I thought it would be fun. I could sit on my ass all day and just drive a piece of machinery. But I was wrong. On the forklift, you're responsible for all of the jobs. You have to make sure that coal bin that I talked about earlier never overflows. You're constantly circulating out with new bins. You have to make sure the hydrocooler never runs out of cherries. You're bringing more bins in so they can keep dumping them in and taking out those empty bins that they've already gone through. And also, you have to take care of cold storage. That you go in there and make sure they have space for the next pallet, or they have more pallets to stack on, that they have all the materials that they need. And so as you can see here in this picture, this is one fun day for me. I come into my shift, and the other forklift driver hands off the keys and says, "Sorry, man, but my shift is over. You're gonna have to deal with that." And so those bins on the left are the coal bins, the ones with the X's on there. Those are the coals, and the ones on the right are the ones that need to get to the hydro cooler. And so I had to go in there, and you can kind of see in the top, my friend's standing up on top of the bins. I had to lift my forks up and manually push a bin on, and I'd take it off and stack it somewhere else, and repeat that until it was all the way down the bottom, and then get to stack them all up again. So that was just one stressful thing from working on forklift that I was ready to run from. And so hopefully now you have some images in your mind of what a cherry packing house looks like. From the hydro cooler and storing line back to the cold storage and forklift. Maybe it makes sense what it takes to make it run. And so the next time you plop a sweet crisp cherry in your mouth, maybe an image of a hydro cooler and me running around on a forklift will pop in your mind. Thank you.